step up to the microphone and we call in complaints.
Make sure it's not on
All right. Yep. I think we're good to go. We should be live on YouTube as well as on our Facebook page and Mitchell Telecom. If you are joining us remotely, you are able to ask questions via YouTube, Facebook, or my information. I am Joe Schrader. My information will be listed multiple times through the presentation. You can either text or email me questions if you have any. So tonight we are here for the Sanborn Boulevard Utility and Street Improvement Project, Phase 3, the final phase of this project. There we go. Tonight I'm going to talk about project contacts. We'll give you a project update of where we're at, project sequencing for Phase 3, traffic control, service interruptions, and then weekly meetings, weekly construction meetings. Contacts for the project. For City of Mitchell, Joe Schrader, that's me, I'm the city engineer. Terry Johnson is the engineering project supervisor. He was unable to be here tonight. The contractor is H&W Contracting. John Rennick is the project manager, and he is with us here tonight. Consultants working for the city on this project are SPN Associates and Bros Engineering. Contact information is listed here. Like I said, it's listed in multiple locations of this project, or in this presentation. And feel free to contact us at any time throughout the project. Project update. As a lot of people know, last year was a rough year for construction. There was a lot of moisture. We thought H&W has done a great job so far. We're happy to have them on this project. And we look forward to 2020 being another good year. Last year, 7th to 8th was supposed to be completed, but due to the weather, we had to hold back on that in order to get all the hard surfacing done. And that's been moved to this year's portion of the project. And we are hoping for better weather conditions. Moving into 2020, you're going to see a lot of the same things that you have the last 2 years from 2018 and 2019 on Sanborn. Improvements include water main, sanitary sewer, and storm sewer improvements. Concrete surfacing will be installed, again with concrete curb and gutter and sidewalk. Approaches along the project will have an additional 5 feet beyond the sidewalk for match-ins. And then hard surfacing areas 5 feet beyond the sidewalk will also be removed and replaced to match in with that sidewalk. You can see the areas in color are the different sequencing that we have on this project. Yellow is 7th to 8th, green is 8th to 9th. The red is the 15th Avenue intersection. Then the blue area is from 15th to 9th. The contractor plans to start April 4th from 7th to 8th. He has allotted 48 calendars per the contract. So once he starts, that timeline will go into effect, 48 calendar days until his penalty kicks in. He will complete the underground utilities for that portion, and then he'll move up to 15th. With an anticipated start date of April 27th. And on that, he is also allotted 32 calendar days per the contract before his penalty sets in. And at that time, that intersection will be required to be open for the remainder of the project. From that point, he will continue work from 15th to 9th. And then 9th to 8th will be one of the last sections that's completed. And that area also has 50 calendar days to complete per the contract before damages set in. The overall completion date of the project is September 11th, 2020, but that date is likely to be extended because The improvements from 7th to 8th got moved to this year, so that's additional work in this calendar year that was not accounted for initially. This is an aggressive schedule. We want the contractor to get done quickly, and for that, there are provisions in the contractor that he can work 7 days a week, weekends, 24 hours a day. I know last year they try not to work weekends when possible, but if they do get behind, they do have that as an option. And I believe the few late nights they worked were due to sawing the concrete that needed to be done in order to control cracking. Now we'll get into traffic control. The graphic that's shown up there is strictly for visual purposes. This is a sheet from the plans. The numbered triangles correspond to signs, to a legend in the plan. So if anyone wants to know individual signs, come find me after the meeting or come to my office sometime in the next couple weeks. We can go through that. The detour for this year is planned to be Main Street, not Minnesota. So that's a change from the last couple years. As I said previously, the contractor's starting from 7th to 8th. So just south of 7th will be shut down to what is 8th. There's not an 8th Street there, but what would be 8th. And then at that time, the 5th and 9th intersections will probably be the main detours because those will remain open. Access to Subway, Salvation Army, PPC, American Family Insurance, those businesses between 7th and 9th will be accessed from the north during that portion. Access to Taco John's drive-through will be maintained from the south alley through easements on private property. When 7th to 8th is complete, the detour will be moved from 5th Avenue to 7th, and that's how it's shown now on the screen. And then that area between 9th and 7th will be accessed from the south. And like I said previously, the 5th intersection will be open when complete. Business signs will be utilized again this year previously to what they were in the past years. If any of the businesses have issues with their signs or locations of their signs, please contact us and we'll see if we can get those items resolved. Trucks will be routed around the city again this year. And then Corn Palace tourist traffic will remain on Sanborn. There won't be any additional signage for tourists. They should be able to come down Sanborn like they would normally, and then they'll turn off accordingly on 5th or 7th, depending where we're at on the project. Service interruptions. Notices for scheduled water or sewer interruptions will be distributed at least 24 hours in advance. Notices of scheduled street closures will be distributed at least 24 hours in advance. We try to get those out ahead of time with the weekly meetings. I'll discuss weekly meetings here coming up. But we'll try to get them out at least a week in advance, or at least give a heads up, hey, we'll be at this location, we're planning on closing this down. We want to keep people notified. Garbage and recycling will be collected as currently scheduled. Garbage and recycling, just put your cans where you normally do, and the city will come pick them up and get them taken care of. Another update on service interruptions. The water main improvements should have limited interruption this year because mainly the improvements are at intersections, tie-ins. There aren't necessarily long stretches on Sanborn. The intersections of 15th through 10th just have your east-west tie-ins to do, so that would be limited interruption. And then 7th Avenue is the same, just east and west. We do plan to have weekly meetings again this year. They'll be scheduled on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. at City Hall Council Chambers. They are open to the public. Anyone's welcome to attend. If you want to get something on the actual agenda, email those items to myself or Terry Johnson, and we'll get them on there to discuss. You can also call me as well. That would be fine. Project updates and meeting notes will be posted on our website. And this presentation that where I'm giving tonight will also be posted on our website. And that's all I have. We'll open it up to questions.
If there is 24-hour construction, are there any noise limitations for after hours or at night that are in the contract?
They're not, no.
Maybe, Joe, just for the video, maybe we should restate the question too, just to make sure it's on there.
The question was asked, are there any noise limitations for the project, since they could have the potential to working 24 hours a day? And the answer to that question is no, there are not. I did receive a question via email, and there was a concern about fences and sight distance safety at alleys. Currently, there are no sight distance requirements for alleys. There are on the main intersections, in which those are being alleviated or looked at or taken care of as part of the project. But there are currently no restrictions for alleys as far as sight distance goes.
We don't have any on YouTube, but
Last year, we had an issue with the ambulance being able to get to certain homes. I think near not Taco John's, Subway, you may run into that again. So we want to make sure we have accommodations for that. Because unfortunately, we did run into an emergency last year.
Yep, and those have been looked at, and they are being addressed if they have not been already. I got a question, should underground sprinkler heads be marked or removed ahead of time? If you can mark them, that would be a great benefit to the contractor. However, there are quantities in the contract for sprinkler lines and heads to be replaced as part of the project. So if they are hit, it is not the homeowner's responsibility.
Along that same line, if they have them marked, oh, it should be on. Along that same line, if they have them marked, if it's a certain zone, we'd like to have it turned off as well, just so if the guys are working in that area, we don't all of a sudden flood it out.
I have another question here. How long water, sewer, electric interruption anticipated? Water, again, if there's just a shut-off or tie-in, it will be roughly...
They're typically a 4-hour shut-off. Through the intersection, the city's got, some of those intersections have existing valves, either east or west of Sanborn. If we can isolate it there, it's usually about a half-a-day type shut-off, just either cap it or make a connection and continue on. Sanitary sewer, for us to have a service interruption to that is going to be extremely limited. Usually that's something that we can't control. If we need to bypass around to install a manhole, we either plug an existing manhole to where the services can still be used, and we might have to fight through 1 or 2 smaller connections, but otherwise the sewer is typically not interrupted.
And that question was specifically from the Salvation Army, and I believe the Salvation Army will not be impacted by water main improvements in that location because the city has already updated the water in front of their business. House received another question, will food trucks still have access to Subway and Salvation Army? And the answer is yes. If there's any issues, there are stipulations in the contract that the contractor has to ensure that deliveries are delivered to those businesses. And John's been great through the whole project as far as making those work for all the businesses involved, and we haven't had any issues yet. I haven't gotten any others. Well, I guess if that's it, I thank everyone for coming. If any other questions come up, my contact information is here, so please contact me.
And in addition to the presentation on the project site, we'll also have a link to the YouTube video as well. So if you want to go back and rewatch the video, you can do that as well.
I-
football really not anymore, so.
So I did receive one question. Wondering if alleys will be maintained during the project. They will be maintained on a case-by-case basis. If they're getting really bad as far as access goes, let us know, and we'll get Kevin Roth involved, and we'll see if we can get them taken care of as soon as possible. Received a question, what about the flooding issue that has been going on for years? I'm assuming that is the 9th Avenue intersection, and that was one of the main purposes of this project, was to extend an adequately sized storm sewer to that intersection. Again, I thank everyone for coming, and if anything else comes up, let me know. Thank you.